Hello and welcome to my space here. This is going to be the extended reading for my Tarot Tuesday weekly guidance and energy update, which is intended for the week of December 8th through the 14th. And but whenever you come across this, you can trust that these messages are meant for you, so trust and receive. I also would like to remind you that if you would like to receive more guidance, you can check out my blog below. If you are here because you read the blog, then thank you for reading. And also, I like to remind you that your intuition is your highest guide above all else, so please listen to the intuitive guidance that comes through you, not just the messages that come through me. And also, I like to remind you that gender does not apply here. I use he and she for masculine and feminine purposes, but it's important to remember that we each have masculine and feminine energies within us all. So be open to the messages that are coming through, and I want to start off the week with what we need to know. So if you read the blog, you'll know that I pulled the Ten of Swords for what we need to know this week. And when I pulled this card, I almost was tempted to put it back because I was like, oh, the Ten of Swords, like I was feeling so good and I had just meditated. I was like feeling like really good energy, and then the Ten of Swords comes out for the collective energy. But also I noticed that when I'm in my own energy, I feel really good, but when I'm in the collective energy, it feels like I get trapped in these betrayal wounds. And that's what I was kind of picking up on, is that we're collectively healing our betrayal wounds. And a lot of us might right now, because this time of year, think about Christ consciousness, think about heart expansion, right? So a lot of us, some of you might be going through dark nights of this, like a dark night of the soul, and feeling like this is like an energy of feeling stabbed in the back, or feeling like you've been betrayed, or like and traditionally in the Rider-Waite tarot deck, I like it because it's this man and he has the sword stabbed in his back, and it's mostly all dark on the card, but there's a little bit of like sun peeking through, and I like that this card is yellow. So there's this energy of like there is light on the horizon, there's a light at the end of the tunnel, but you might be feeling trapped in darkness. And I was picking up on this energy of entrapment, which could be the energy of, feeling like I'm picking up on limiting beliefs around love, around relationships that are like trapped in your own mind, right? And if you would like to read a message from the spirit of the fox, that came through in my blog post. So it was this energy of like feeling like, moving beyond traps in your own mind. And you have to remember that the ego mind is a trap. So you have to, like I was picking up on this energy of connecting to the earth, coming back down into your heart space this week, so that, a lot of you might have past pains and past betrayal wounds, like abandonment, rejection, of doubts, worries, fears, insecurities that are coming up right now. And it's like, I kept seeing this vision of like slaying these demons, right? Like take this sword and slay that shit. Like you can practice, one of my favorite practices is, cutting energetic cords. And you can make it into a fun practice. This is why I also dance, which I mentioned last week, but you can cut energetic cords by, just imagining, every time your mind wants to go, it wants to ruminate on the past, like it's bringing up past scenarios of being rejected or being abandoned. This can make us feel really bitter. It can like stab us in the heart. I'm picking up that people are feeling really like our hearts are expanding, but when there comes an expansion, there's also going to be a contraction. If we've been betrayed in the past, if we've been hurt in the past, our hearts are it's going to resist the expansion, right? It wants to stay closed off, because that way your ego mind believes it's protecting you when it's keeping your heart closed off. But Christ consciousness, unity consciousness is teaching us how to open our heart space to expand so that we can love one another unconditionally. I was picking up on this energy of if you're feeling very hurt, or you're feeling betrayed, or you're feeling dark and you're feeling negative, you're wanting to project this onto other people. You're wanting to hurt other people. You're wanting to stab other people in the back. You might want to be vengeful, or, you might have a lot of revenge, or you want to hurt other people. That's what I'm picking up on, like this desire to hurt other people. But all you're doing when you're hurting somebody else is relieving yourself of the hurt that you're feeling inside, the pain, the rejection, the abandonment, the wounds, the darkness, the negativity that you're harboring within yourself. You want to project it so that you don't have to sit with it, you don't have to feel it, and you can make somebody else feel bad. You can make them feel worse than you do, right? So there's this need to come back to, because this is the card I pulled to clarify the Ten of Swords, and it says, look to your inner strength. You are stronger than you realize. And it's this woman looking at herself. And I'm hearing this storyline of this. It's like this woman looking into this crystal ball and like seeing your future self, seeing your highest self. What would your best self do, right? Think of those bracelets we used to have. And I wish I had one of these, and I never did wear one of these because I didn't give two shits about Jesus or like religion or anything about God or anything when I was growing up. So, but those little bracelets, what would Jesus do? Like WWJD. So every time you want to react harshly, every time you want to be mean to somebody, choose love. What would love do? What would Jesus do, right? And that's what your highest self is. Your highest self is pure love, right? So what would love do? And every time you act in alignment with love, you become more of your loving highest self, right? But the more you act from your wounds and your fears and your doubts and your insecurities, the more you're gonna, stay stuck and trapped in that small self, that ego mind that pins other people against you, right? It's this energy of competition, comparison, you have to let go of those things in the mind, right? And come back down to your heart, because when you come back into your heart, you no longer see separation. Separation is an illusion. We are all one. We are all connected, and we're waking up to this. We're realizing, oh my gosh, wow. Every time I hurt another person, I'm really just hurting an extension of myself. What am I doing? Really waking up to these behaviors that are, tearing other people down or hurting other people. We're awakening to this. Why am I doing this? Why am I hurting other people? Why do I want to see other people hurting, right? And coming back, oh, wow, I am truly hurting, but there's this energy of putting on a mask. So many people are feeling hurt and betrayed, and they're feeling down, they're feeling low, they're feeling lifeless, they're feeling like they're dying on the inside, but they put on this mask, I'm so happy, and this is exhausting, playing this charade, pretending you're happy and pretending that things are okay when deep inside they're not fucking okay, and deep inside you're hurting, but you're pretending. That's exhausting, and that will deplete your energy, that will drain your batteries, and you will feel resentful. You will feel bitter. You will want to hurt other people because you're not taking care of yourself, right? So look to your inner strength. How can you nurture yourself? Come back to your inner light. How can you do things that make you feel happy? How can you do things that make you feel strong and powerful and brave? Because power does not come from hurting other people. It does not come from putting other people down. But our system has taught us that. To hurt other people, to put other people down in order to gain more power, right? That's what our whole country was literally built upon. We massacred millions of people so that we felt more powerful, so that we felt in control. But if we would have allowed those natives to teach us how to be in connection with our emotions, to be in connection with the fucking earth, right? I just get so worked up about this. I get so mad about the lies that our foundation has been built upon societally and in this country, in America, and it makes me really mad, right? And it can make me feel really angry, and this brings up all my past pain from past lifetimes of being literally pillaged, raped by multiple people, and then being thrown away like fucking garbage. I remember being in a pile of dead people, and being half alive, pretty much half dead, and witnessing myself from above, watching this terrible, awful things happen to me and to the people that, and the souls. It's so insane to kind of have these memories being evoked. And you might have past life memories resurfacing, and maybe you don't really know a lot about past lifetimes, or maybe for me it evoked a lot of fear to speak about my past lifetimes, because not everyone believes in that, and I can't prove anything that I feel or that I sense. All I can do is listen to my own intuition, my own inner knowing, and that's kind of this energy of this inner strength. Listen to yourself. Stop listening to other people. Stop listening to what other people tell you are. Oh my gosh, if I would continue to listen to what people have told me I am, I would not feel good about myself. I would literally beat myself up every day, and I used to. That was my life. It was my life to literally wake up every day and hate my life, to hate myself. Literally, to hate myself. And it takes inner strength to show up every day and to love yourself exactly as you are, exactly where you're at, with all your flaws, with all your imperfections, with all your pains, with all your wounding, with all your trauma, with all your darkness, with all your negativity. You have to wake up every day and you have to hold this space for it and say, I love you. I see that you're struggling. I see that you're hurting. I see that you're in pain. I hear you. How can I make you feel better, right? Start talking to yourself. There was a message in the blog about listening to your inner dialogue, observing your inner dialogue. Don't just pay attention this week to how you're communicating in relationships, but what is the story you're telling in here every day, right? Because that's what's going to affect our dialogue in our relationships. So if you're constantly putting yourself down, you're probably going to put your friends down. You're probably going to put everybody down around you, because that's what you're doing inside. But once you start building yourself up and you start cheering yourself on, you can't help but cheer on other people. You can't help but want to see them happy and to see them empowered and strong, and you want to build them up and you want to make them feel good about themselves, right? But it can be challenging when you're surrounded. I was picking up on people awakening and they're surrounded by lots of negativity. I grew up surrounded by negativity. My family is one of the most negative, pessimistic people group of people there ever was. I was taught to complain, I was taught to criticize, I was taught to judge, to put people down for no other fucking reason than to make myself feel better. Like, that's so sick and it's so wrong, but some people were conditioned to believe this, to live in this way. And what's worse is that they learned how to be really judgmental and criticizing and, mean to themselves, right? And that's why they're projecting it onto other people. So just watch yourself. Are you when do you tend to outburst? Is it because you're not happy? How can you do things that make you feel happy? And a lot of times we avoid that. We want other people to make us happy. We want to control other people's behaviors, and this is happening in relationships. And I'm picking up that relationships are ending, or relationships are in a very uncomfortable spot right now, and it's making you feel very, it's bringing up so many of your pains and your past woundings. And if you're not using your relationship to grow and to expand and to love one another more deeply, but you're projecting and you're judging each other and you're criticizing each other and you're keeping each other stuck and you're keeping each other bound and you're feeling trapped and you're feeling isolated and you're feeling stuck in a relationship, it ain't the relationship for you. Bye-bye. See you later. You got to cut those relationships out. If you feel bound or trapped in any way, it's time to go, right? And that's what it's teaching you, to empower yourself and walk the fuck away. Get yourself out of this situation. A lot of people don't want to see that the reason they're in situations that aren't so pleasant is because of their own lies they've told themselves in their mind, like they're not good enough, or they deserve to be treated like shit, or they're beating themselves up every day and then they're getting beat up by their partners. And this can be physically or verbally. I'm picking up on domestic abuse, and it's time to go. If you're being hit, it's time to go. I know you're scared, and I know that there's probably other things that are keeping you there, like shelter or stability or for your children, but please, I grew up in domestic violence. Get your children out of the home. Get yourself out of that situation. It literally taught me to grow up and hate myself, to beat myself up, right? Please, if you can, reach out to somebody to help you get out of a situation like that. Or if it's verbal abuse and you're being attacked and you're being emotionally abused, if you're being gaslighted, please, Spirit is saying it is time. You can do this. I promise you can. I promise you can. If you're struggling, you can do it. I know you can. And every time you tell yourself you can't, that's a lie. You have to tell yourself, I can do this. I can do this on my own. I can do this. I am a powerful person. I'm a powerful woman. I can do anything that I choose. And I can choose to love myself. I can choose to empower myself. I can choose to be strong. I can choose to be courageous. And it can be challenging, right? That's our solar plexus chakra. If we're used to being the victim, if we grew up in a home where we were maybe victimized in any way, it's going to be familiar to be the victim and to feel helpless. And those emotions are going to become addictive. And you're going to be, you would rather feel feelings of powerlessness than to have no identity whatsoever, right? So as soon as you let go of all this negativity, you let go of your trauma, you let go of your pain, who am I? Who am I without all this stuff? Who am I without all this past pain, right? And this is the best part, though. It's going to be the scariest part, but it's the best part because you get to discover, who the fuck am I? Who am I? And you get to come back to who you truly are, and not the voices of your ego, not the voices of your past pain, not the voices of the names you've been called or anything. That is not who you are, right? And your ego is going to be chattering you and telling you these lies all day long, but you have to begin to come back to the present moment and realize what is truth versus what is a lie. And if you can switch your narrative and you can switch your dialogue, that's going to make a huge difference in your life, and you're going to feel very powerful. You're going to feel, because you're telling yourself, I am strong. I can do hard things. Repeat those mantras to yourself every day, and every day it'll get easier and easier and easier. You'll become stronger and stronger. And remember, your strength does not come from backstabbing. Your strength does not come from being on top. Your strength does not from having more muscles, or your strength does not come from being right. Your strength comes from your gentleness, from your ability to remain soft when you want to be hard. It comes when you and I mentioned this maybe even last week, that's where your strength comes from, and that's what we've been learning the last few weeks. And look, even on this card, it's all yellow. Once again, I'm wearing a yellowish orange color. It's the energy of the solar plexus chakra, and we're really coming back to our own power, and we've realized, oh shit, we've been manipulated for a very long time. How can we take our power back? Well, you take your power back by really coming back to who you are. So who are you? Get to know your emotions. Your emotions will guide you back to who you are, right? If you're feeling very lonely, how can you connect to yourself? How can you do things that make you feel connected? What made you feel connected as a kid? What makes you feel connected to your body? What makes you feel strong and powerful and healthy, right? Doing those things will create strength in your life. Strength doesn't just magically appear. You have to cultivate it. And it's the hardest thing you'll probably ever do, but it's definitely worth it, and you'll recognize your worth through this challenging experience of reuniting with your power. And I can tell you, you're not the only one going through this. Everybody on earth right now is experiencing this shift. We're feeling this shift. What's actually happening is Mother Earth is evolving and transforming, and because of that, we're gonna feel the effects. We're gonna feel the shifts, right? All we have to do is learn how to adapt in a new way, how to live in a new way, right? But we want to live habitually. We want to live in a way that's comfortable and familiar, that doesn't require us to step outside of our comfort zone, that doesn't require us to try new things, that doesn't require us to behave in new ways, right? We want to stay comfortable. The ego wants the same. The ego wants to stay the same. The ego does not want new. The new is scary to the ego, right? But I'm picking up on that. Even if you're going through a challenging ending right now, whether this is a relationship or through like a job or whatever it is, or a living situation. Oh my gosh, my hair is driving me crazy today. Whatever it is within yourself that you're dealing with, there is light at the end of the tunnel. Like, there is a new beginning on the horizon. So stay optimistic. That's what Spirit was reminding me, to stay optimistic, even if it feels like, even if you feel hopeless or like things are not working out for you, they are going to get better. But you have to stay in this mindset of like, if you stay stuck in that mentality of like, things are always working against me, I'm such a victim to life, that's what you're going to attract more of, right? So the more you can kind of stay optimistic, connect to your faith, connect to the things that make you feel happy and hopeful, the more you can do those things and cultivate that energy, the more you're going to attract that in your external experiences. And you may be feeling alone. I'm going to take these both for what we're not seeing clearly, because they came out, and this is the energy I'm feeling, is what we're not seeing clearly is it's the sun. This is like a great omen for like, this is always a card to me of like reuniting with your inner child, right? Connecting to that vibrancy within yourself, that part of you that feels so fucking alive, right? Because I was picking up on this energy. You look at this little lizard thing. He's literally dead. Like, that's what I'm picking up on. A lot of people feel dead right now. And that's this time of year, right? It's Mother Earth. She's transforming. It's the energy of death, autumn, right? Transformation. Let's go ahead and die. Like, let ourselves die, right? We don't want to allow ourselves... We don't like when the ego part of us dies, because our ego is our identity, right? And so our ego makes us feel like it has some kind of power or some kind of control, and it does not. What we're learning, and what we're going to be learning over the next course of like the next, in my opinion, in the next like 10 years, is how to let go of control, right? And people think, oh, 2020 was awful. What the fuck? Like... And they think, oh, 2020 is going to be so great. And I'm not saying that 2020 isn't going to be great if you've done the work. If 2020 didn't propel you into doing the work, 2021 is going to be just the same as 2020, right? You'll just be in this Groundhog Day kind of scenario. But if you've been doing the work and you've been putting in the work to grow, to expand, and what I mean is to expand your mind and to expand your heart, then yes, 2020 will probably be filled with tons of blessings and, just so many new opportunities, right? But if you haven't done the work, don't expect that 2021 is going to be any different than 2020. Like, hello. You have to actually put in the work, and that's what 2020 was all about. And if you didn't put in the work, if you kept yourself trapped in situations, you're going to feel trapped, you're going to feel bound, right? And it's funny because to me, I was explaining to someone recently about what I feel like the next few years are going to be like, and it's going to be like a roller coaster, right? And the ones that are spirally and loopy and doopy, and you know how roller coasters can kind of make you feel out of control? That's exactly what the next 5 to 10 years are going to be about, is we're learning how to let go of control, right? And that's going to be scary because the ego loves to control. And think about it, the roller coaster isn't moving at a fast pace. Or imagine a roller coaster going in slow motion, and you're hung upside down for what seems like 100 years, right? You're on that loop, and you're right here, and you're just hanging upside down. And because we're moving in slow motion, it's going to feel like shit. We've been hanging up here forever. And 2020 was really just about coming out the gate. To me, we're at the peak, right? We're at the peak. 2020, the end of 2020, we haven't even fucking gone down the hill yet, right? So we're just out of the gate now. So allow yourself. It's like climbing up that mountain, right? That's what 2020 has been about to me, in my opinion. That's how my guides are kind of showing it to me. It's like climbing up that first steep, and we're going to go down the hill. because and that's the whole journey of ascension and awakening, is like there's going to be peaks and there's going to be valleys. And in my opinion, it's like when you're at a peak, let's say for your finances, your business, your health, right? You're at a peak and you're feeling really good. Can you remain humble? And when you recede and you come down into that valley, and maybe your finances recede, your relationships recede, your business recedes, or whatever it is, and you're in a little low spot, can you remain grateful? And when you're at the peak, remaining humble. When you're at the valley, remaining grateful, because that's what life is going to be about. It's going to be these ups and downs. Healing is not linear. We are going to hit peaks and we're going to feel really fucking good, and then we're going to go back down. And that's the whole beauty of it, in my opinion, is we get to traverse these different experiences over and over again, but from different perspectives. And the only thing that has to change in our life really is our perspective. And then as our perspective shifts, everything in our life shifts. So shift your perspective of who you are, right? Instead of your perspective of who you are coming from outside sources like your parents or society or whatever, how can you connect more with your own inner voice? How can you quiet the outside world? Maybe meditation is a great practice for you. I do guided meditations. You can find a bunch on my YouTube channel if you'd like to try those out. And I also offer personalized pre-recorded meditations if that's something you would like to try out. This will just help you to really kind of quiet your mind and come back to your body. And then you can think of your subconscious mind as like this file room, right? And that's kind of the monotonous task of meditation and healing your subconscious mind, is kind of going through those files. So meditation will allow you to kind of sort through, oh, this isn't true, oh, this is garbage, oh, and oh, I'm going to keep this one, I like this quality about myself, I like this one, and then it's just about this energy of sorting through, right? So if that's something you're curious about, or you would like to try meditation, then I will definitely love to help you. I love teaching meditation because not only does it benefit you, it really truly benefits me as well, being the channel for it. I pick up on those same energies that are coming through me. So if that's something you'd like, you can definitely reach out. Definitely follow me on Instagram as well. I'll leave all that information below. But there was also, with the sun, is the Ace of Wands. So there is this new beginning, and this is a passionate, fiery new beginning, right? And it is Sagittarius season, so it's this energy of fire. And the sun too, with the Ace of Wands, it's like this innocent passion. Like, think of erotic innocence and feeling really, excited, and think of being like turned on. But that's kind of like our inner child. Our inner child is always turned on to source, right? And it always feels that sense of vitality. Our inner children are so resilient, right? They can bounce back from any darkness. They can always return to their inner light. So that's what I think we're not seeing clearly, is we're getting a chance to return and to connect with our inner light. And I can kind of feel really uncomfortable because it's more familiar to be in the dark and to listen to your fears and your doubts and your worries than it is to actually listen to the truth of your soul, right? That voice that's like gentle and loving. If you haven't had gentle or loving or encouraging like parents, for example, learning to listen to the voice of your soul that is really comforting and encouraging and loving is going to be like, whoa, no way. Like, I do not deserve to be treated with such love and kindness and respect. Because think about it, if you're disrespecting your children are going to grow up to disrespect you, right? So, and the reason that you would disrespect your own child is because you're disrespecting yourself. So if you really want to, create more respect in your dynamics, especially relationships, not even with your children, but also with your maybe your boss or with your intimate partner, really learning how to respect yourself. What are your boundaries? What are your needs? And then meeting them. And then that's how you teach people how to meet your needs. That's how you teach people to respect you, right? That's how you teach people to love you. Okay, so what are we not seeing clearly, Spirit, with the Ace of Wands and the Sun? Okay, it says, be willing to express love. When we express love, we begin to receive more love. Oh, I love that. And there's like this, it looks like this fairy maybe is like holding this seashell of this mermaid. You might be seeing feathers as a sign for you, or a symbol. There's also seashells, and yeah, I think that's it. Or just like water, like needing to connect to the water, which I feel is like really important, especially if you have a lot of passion, a lot of fire energy. It's kind of creating that energy of being more compassionate, right? And it says, when we express love, we begin to receive more love. So if you want more love from your partner, or even more love from your children, how can you be more loving towards them? How can you express your love? A lot of times when we've been hurt, we'll wait and wait to express our love. and we'll wait and wait for somebody else to give us love, right? And we'll totally neglect ourselves, right? And then we'll end up attracting people that neglect us as well, but not realizing that the reason we're attracting somebody like that isn't because they're a fucking awful person and they're a terrible partner. It's because we're in the energy of self-neglect. So how can you learn to give yourself more love? That's just kind of what I'm picking up. That's also number 6. Let's see what your advice is for us this week, though, Spirit. So as you connect more to your inner child too and your own emotions, like think of how like innocent and open and curious. And to me, curiosity kills the ego. So every time your ego is roaring and it's telling you all these fucking lies and all these stories about who you are, or it's making you compare yourself to other people, or it's making you judge other people, how can you stop and shift that and be like, meet it with some curiosity? Why am I being so judgmental right now? Why am I being so hard on this person? Why am I being so mean? Like, ask yourself why. That's like the kid, the inner child within yourself. Think of yourself as like a 4-year-old. Every time your ego has some thought that's absurd and way far-fetched, ask yourself, is this fucking true, or is this something I'm making up, right? And your ego will make shit up. So that's what's really important about discerning what is your intuition, your inner vision, your inner voice, your inner knowing, versus what is the ego telling me, Like I said, the more you speak, the more you reunite with your inner child, the more you're going to see the inner child in everyone you come in contact with. It could be a murderer or a rapist or the worst person in the world, right? And you're still going to see their inner child. You're going to see the goodness within them. You're going to see the light within them, because that's where you're at, right? And that's how we love people unconditionally. That's how we forgive people. That's how we, strengthen relationships. And I'm not saying to stay in relationships and say, oh, this person's just a poor inner child, I'll let them hurt me. No, not at all. You have to place boundaries and show them, this is how I deserve to be treated. And if you can't learn to change your behavior, then I need to walk away. And when you can come back to this place within yourself where you feel harmonious and you feel happy and you can treat me with kindness and respect, then we'll discuss, but you have to be able to, have a backbone and stand up for yourself. Otherwise, you're going to allow yourself to be treated like shit, and then you're just going to be like, then you can just blame it on that person. Oh, well, this person treated me like garbage, and I can just blame them, rather than dealing with your own inner child wounding. And as you deal with your own wounding, this will reflect in your relationships, and your partner will learn how to treat you in a new way. And if they can't, you'll have to walk away. But some people don't want that. They'd rather stay stuck in darkness than they would, be illuminated by the truth. So wherever you're at on your path is perfect for you, though. So if you're wanting to stay in that rejection, if you're wanting to stay in that negative dark energy, that's cool. Go for it. But that's what you're going to reap. If you're ready to ascend and you're ready to connect with your light, you're ready to connect with your power, that's what you're going to, attract. So whatever is up to you, you get to decide. You get to choose your destiny. If you're going to stay stuck in darkness, or if you're going to, shine like the sun. Shine bright like a diamond. I just heard that song the other night. So, let your worth shine through, and then people will know your worth, right? So what's your advice for us, Spirit? Okay, we have the 8 of Wands. I love this card because it has a unicorn on it. But the 8 of Wands is this energy, more fire energy, this energy of things aligning quickly, things moving forward quickly. And I was picking up on that in the energy of the blog when I was writing it. It's like things are moving quickly and are aligning for you. And that's kind of the energy of the 8 of Wands, is this energy of alignment, like rapid alignment. Things like you're going to see your blessings, and you might be seeing 888 because we have the 8 of Wands here. Let's see if 8 showed up anywhere else. No. 11 on the strength card, know your strength, and then 6 on this one. But anyway, it's this energy of like abundance, and like the more you focus on your abundance, the more you focus on your beauty, on your strength, on your light, on your power, the more you focus on those things, the more things are going to align rapidly. But the more you resist and the more you stay stuck in that lower base energy, the more things are going to seem like they're moving at a glacial, slow pace. But when you can connect with that inner light, think of connecting with your inner child. It's timeless, it's ageless, it's genderless, in my opinion, so it's like connecting with that part of yourself. Time doesn't exist. Time is an illusion. Time is a man-made construct to create order, which is fine, right? We need a little bit of order here. We need a little bit of structure, but don't use time as an excuse not to love yourself. Don't use time as an excuse not to care for yourself, or to heal yourself, or to take care of yourself, definitely, don't use time as an excuse. Use time as a tool. Time is a tool that will help you to, become the person you're meant to be, rather than using time as an excuse to stay the same. Underneath the deck is Knight of Pentacles. This is always an energy of like needing to move slow or like having more patience. Have more patience with yourself. Maybe your parents weren't very patient with you and they tried to rush you, you know? Ugh, I always hated that. Like, my parents were always trying to control me, and they always wanted me to do things on their fucking time, you know, and they weren't patient with me. They wanted to drag me around and make me do this and make me do that. But I had my whole own inner world that was guiding me to do different things to help me connect with myself. But I had learned to disconnect from my inner world in order to please my parents, you know, and it fucked me, you know, it fucked me over. And then I ended up in relationships that treated me like garbage, you know, that where I totally would betray myself in order to be in a relationship that was garbage. So it's just like, look at what you learned from your parents. And if they didn't have a very good relationship, you probably won't either, you know, and that's not to like judge you and that's not to put you down. It's just to say, hello, wake up, like look at your patterns. And if you want this like beautiful relationship, you know, everyone wants this beautiful relationship and this romantic relationship, but they don't want to romance themselves. They don't want to fall in love with themselves. But I'm going to teach you. I can tell you, this has been my path and I've learned how to fall in love with myself. And it is the most beautiful journey there ever was. Is it challenging? Is it hard? Does it suck to be alone? Yes, it does. But it's also giving me the gift of reuniting with my intuition, my creativity, my gifts, my power. Like, hell yes. Like, things are aligning quickly for you. Whether you are choosing to stay trapped in negativity or whether you're choosing to focus on the light. So what's your advice with the Eight of Wands? And the unicorns, remember, I've been talking about the inner child. The unicorns are this energy of purity and this energy of innocence. So you can connect with the unicorns to help you kind of transcend any limitations placed on you in childhood. And that was coming up with the, because like your belief system, and there's like this energy of a dark night of the soul. And when the ego dies, it's our belief systems dying. It's our identity dying. So the unicorns kind of help you reunite with that innocence within you and like, help you connect with your inner light. And the advice is, which I love because it's number 26, but also 6 + 2 is 8, so we had the 8 come through again. It says new love. Embrace this new opportunity of love that is here. This may pertain to work opportunities or to spiritual growth, which I was picking up on this energy of like a heart expansion, and I'm picking up on self-love. Like this new love is like, wow, you're really starting to love yourself. Like, and as you do love yourself, things are going to align for you. And look at, and I saw a shooting star last night. I looked up for a second and it was there, and look at, there's a shooting star on this card. So I love that energy. So make a wish, and believe, and that's our inner child. Our inner child believes in our dreams. Like, go back and start thinking, when did I give up on my dreams? When did I stop believing in good things? When did I stop believing in love, right? And what were those things that stopped me from believing in love? And when you tend to those things, you come back and you create this new sense of love within yourself. And I love this, the energy of new love. Okay, so underneath this deck, it says, physical touch is important. For some of us, nothing is more important than a tender touch. This might include a pat on the back or giving a hug to someone who needs it. And this reminds me of like courtship, and like I'm picking up on relationships and dating. So some of you are really calling in like this new relationship that could be very passionate, that could evoke a lot of your innocence, and that could really awaken your inner child is what I'm picking up on. So be open to this new love and learn to relate from this place of love that's innocent and open, right? Rather than from your wounding. And when you do that, your relationship will flourish, your relationship will evolve, and it will grow in a beautiful way, right? It won't be forced, it will happen organically. And the more you're in that inner child energy, the more like the more room you allow for your relationship to just be, instead of trying to control your relationship and I need to be married at this certain time and I need to be engaged by this certain time and I need to have a baby by this time and I need to have a house by this time, like allow your relationship to just be what it is and be in the present moment, right? Think of our inner child. They are in a total state of connection, presence, right? So come back to that. And when you relate and you're in relationships from that state of being, right, you're going to allow things to be more flexible and flowing. You're not going to be so rigid, and you're not going to try to be controlling and manipulating, everything in your life. And it just creates a lot more ease in your life. And remember, your life was meant to be easeful. You might have been taught to worry for sport. You might have been taught, to think that life is hard, that life is working against you, but I can guarantee you life is supporting you. And as the more you listen to that inner voice, the more you connect with life and connect with the things that make you feel alive and connected to life, the more you'll see that life is always working out for you. And think about, as inner children, we always believe that life is supporting us. We have no other way of being, right? So allow life to support you. And if it's supporting you by asking you to leave certain relationships, if it's supporting you by losing your job, if it's supporting you by losing your home, right? Listen to those signals and these things, Spirit might try to push you out of your comfort zone by creating kind of like catastrophes in your life, or like health related things. It's like trying to wake you up. It's saying like, I need to make you really uncomfortable so that you come back to me, right? So we can think when these disastrous things like relationships ending, or losing our job, or losing finances, we can think of those things as like, oh, these are so awful and life is just working against me. Or we can see them as opportunities to grow and shift our perspective. And then as you shift your perspective, that's what Spirit wants. It wants you to come back to your spirit, right? It wants you to come out of your ego mind, and it wants you to stop thinking you're in control, because you are not in control. God is in control. Spirit is in control. The universe is. And that's what I was saying with that roller coaster concept of, the next 5 to 10 years are going to feel very out of our control. And we're control freaks here in America, especially. We want to control and dictate and, manipulate everything so that it goes our way, right? But things are not going to go our way. And are we going to act like little children and have tantrums when things don't go our way? Or are we going to use them as opportunities to grow and to know ourselves more deeply and intimately? Because when we know ourselves more deeply and intimately, that's how we're going to relate to the world and to other people. And that's what the universe or God wants for us, is to relate to each other more intimately, more kindly, more compassionately. And the only way we can relate to others in that way and to stop hurting one another is to stop hurting ourselves. To stop neglecting our emotions, to stop running away from our self, from our truth, from our power. And when we come back to our power, baby, the power is in the people, right? Okay, so let's get one overall message from the Journey of Love. What is the overall message for us this week, Spirit? Okay, yes, I love this. Okay, it says Sweet Soul Rising, and it's number 20. Might also be seeing 222. I love all the blue on the card. I'm picking up on Archangel Gabriel and the throat chakra. So this is like expressing ourselves, right? We had even expression come up. It says, be willing to express love. And like I was saying, we can kind of hold ourselves back sometimes from expressing love because we've been hurt in the past. And Spirit is saying, move beyond those fears and allow yourself to express yourself vulnerably. Even if you've done that in the past, like in childhood and your caregivers rejected you or weren't able to support you in some certain way, like, it's safe for you to do it now. It's safe for you to express your love. It's safe for you to express yourself. And, not underneath this deck I want to share because it's so perfect, because we need to ground to the earth. And it says devotion to the small. It's number 32. And I was picking up that it's important to ground to the earth this week. So, and even look in this card, they're like on the earth there, connected to the earth. There's flowers surrounding them. I was picking up on this energy to connect with flowers, to connect with the earth, to connect with your body. And look at, there's flowers and green on this card. So I'm picking up on Archangel Raphael as well. And Archangel Raphael helps us when our heart's expanding, when we're healing past heartbreak. If you're healing, if you're healing from a breakup, or if you just got out of a relationship, or you're calling in a new relationship, then look, we even had new love. Like, you are calling this in. So if you get stuck in those moments, like, I'm never going to find anyone, like, I'm going to be alone forever, that's a lie you're telling yourself. Remember, check your story and come back and be like, oh, I'm creating this new love. Like, and get excited about it. Get like, how would you feel if you had this new love? How would you feel? Would you feel like beautiful? Would you feel enchanted? Would you feel like an inner child? Like, how would you feel if you had this new relationship and start to embody those feelings without the relationship first, and then you'll become like a magnet to it? Okay, so let's read this Sweet Soul Rising. I've got lots of messages coming through this week, so take what resonates. And remember, all of this may resonate, some of it may resonate, so just take what resonates for you and leave the rest, because there is lots of just different messages from different. There's so many, so you might be seeing 222, I'm hearing as well. Okay, this says, you may feel lost in your own thoughts and feelings. That's so crazy. This is the sweetness of surrender into another world. It is time to dream, to wonder. That's our inner child. Not to be clear and sharp right at this precise moment. If you have a clear plan, let it become soft and feel your heart open to allowing whatever may be, right? And that's what I was kind of saying in those relationships. Instead of dictating our relationships, allow it to be whatever it is. And this could be related to business as well. We might believe that it is through tough action and dynamic assertiveness that we make our way through the world. Yet sometimes the sweetness of our soul rises, and instead we can flow gently with the currents of the cosmic ocean, unsure where we are headed, but safe in the truth that all waters naturally return to the ocean, where they are all wanting to go eventually anyway. You can use your own efforts to swim to your destination against the current at times, or you can float on the sweet love of your own soul as it enjoys the privilege of getting to know itself as one with the divine. Ah, yes. This oracle brings you guidance now. Surrender and flow. This is not the time to assert your will and try to make things happen, no matter how much you may want to or believe that you should. There is something bigger happening, and everything is going to turn out perfectly according to a far larger plan. That includes your well-being too, beloved. Sometimes we have to let go of our expectations about how that bigger plan will be achieved and just let it happen, trusting that it will actually take place even without us striving to make it so. This is one of those times. And this is the poem that goes with this card. With innocence, I share my heart. I smile, expressing with a tear sweet words and feelings that impart everything I hold dear. The promise of a blossom high, the air is bathed in fragrant scent. To reach the sun you have to fly, desires well with love that's meant. To wait for heaven's soft embrace, a fruit so firm and succulent, God's promise must remain so chaste while passion's glow is slowly spent. Such patience born with time's insight, my soul doth burn in embers light, and savors fresh and moist and ripe, the gift of love when it's right. Oh, juicy deliciousness from that poem. Oh, I love that. That was such a beautiful, I feel like that was such a beautiful overall message for the entire reading, because there was this energy of like using our words to hurt other people, and this was saying like, oh, using your words to love one another. I hope this was helpful for you. I hope it was healing for you. I do private readings, so if you would like to book one with me, you can find that information below. I hope you have a lovely week, and I'm sending you so much love. Take care.